But moving now to our special focus on the show this morning. Well, politics speaking over the Tirupati Laddus, the Prasad served at the Tirupati temple. Of course, this after the Andhra Pradesh government led by the TDP alliance had claimed that there was animal fat that was actually used in these laddus. And in fact, there was a report, a lab report as well, that was publicized by the TDP government in Andhra Pradesh. And there's massive politics over it. Of course, the YSRCP, in fact, has not yet responded to the lab report, though they have said that this is a report that could be wrong as well, and that there could be fallacies and loopholes as far as this private lab report is concerned. But remember, the TDP also making several other important points. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy, in fact, has called for a nationwide survey of the prasad served in all temples that are controlled by the Congress-run government. So, of course, there Chandrababu Naidu really upping the ante, and also his deputy Pawan Kalyan, who now says that, well, it's time for a national Sanatan Dharma Rakshan Board. It's a first of its kind, given the fact that there is a huge political row as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. And Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu really upping the ante, and in fact also hitting out at the Congress over the prasad served at the Karnataka temples as well, certainly making it to be a political issue. But given the fact that there's devotion attached to it, there are a lot of sensitivities attached to it, it certainly warrants an investigation. My colleague Uma Sudhir has more details.
Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam has right now constituted a 4-member committee that will submit a report in a week about the quality standards that have been followed for the Tirupati Laddu. And this is going to be very important, because while a lab report has been presented in the public domain and we are being told that the TTD authorities are the one who had sent it for lab checks, I asked what was the motivation for doing that. They said there had been multiple complaints about the quality of the Laddu in the recent past, and that's the reason why about 7 samples were sent by the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam to the NDTV CAF lab, which is the National Dairy Development Board lab that is situated in Gujarat, and that's where the tests were conducted. Following which they said there is adulteration not just with vegetable fats but also with animal fat, and that is what created shock, and the report of course created a lot of outrage among the devotees as well, mentioning that there is fish oil, beef tallow, as well as something called lard, which is said to be white fat from a pig. So if those constituents are found in the ghee that is used to prepare the laddu, that of course will be something that devotees cannot accept at all. Tirumala Tirupati laddus per se are patented in a sense that they have the GI tag, that they have the geographical indications tag, and people would say that anyone who has not eaten the Tirupati laddu perhaps has not really realized what divine taste can feel like, and that is the kind of pride with which the Tirupati laddu is held. It has of course a lot of love and respect as well, but the controversy per se with Chandrababu Naidu making this statement during an address that he made of NDA legislators, 100 days of formation of his government, and at that time he made this mention that quality standards have gone down, and that is where he also mentioned that fish oil possibly was also used in the ghee. The background to this is also, I must mention, that the YSRCP has of course denied the allegations, and they are saying that Mr. Naidu is stooping to very low levels in order to point fingers at the YSRCP or to blame them, and they say that there is nothing, no such thing that has happened.
And joining me on the show this morning, Konda Rajiv Gandhi, spokesperson of the YSRCP. Also with me, Deepak Reddy, spokesperson of the TDP. Let me go across to you, Mr. Konda Rajiv Gandhi. These are serious allegations that are being levelled by the TDP government. They say that the private lab report has now, in a sense, confirmed or validated their claims that there was animal fat as far as these laddus were concerned. And given the fact that it's controlled by the government, and the allegation is right against you, how do you respond to it?
Well, before responding as a representative of YSR Congress Party, as a Hindu, as a citizen of Andhra Pradesh especially, and a devotee of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam Srivaru, I would like to give some kind of clarity towards this issue, because first of all, the item which is tested, I think either it is ghee or some other thing, but it is not a laddu. The item which will enter Tirupati only after passing 3 kinds of tests, that too in the laboratory of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. See, giving tender means is not that permitting whatever the utter or gutter the tender made fellow will send to Tirumala, it will not be accepted. So the tender is given, we will check each and every container which reaches Tirumala, and that too of 3 kind of tests. And definitely, yes, this kind of material is failed and it was sent back. And earlier in the same manner...
So Mr. Gandhi, are you saying that the private lab report is entirely false then?
No, I am not saying that it is false. But the thing is, it was not mixed into the prasadam. Before going to the preparation of the prasadam only, the tests will be conducted, and in case of any such adulterations or alterations in the product, they will be sent back. In such manner, earlier 46 containers were sent back to the tender holders who has already sent that material. So here this thing, first we have to give clarity to the devotees that there is no alterations in the prasadam laddu which have taken so far. It is clear. There is no kind of alterations in the prasadam laddu. Maybe the alterations in the ghee or some other thing which came to Tirumala, but Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam rejected it. Okay.
So that's an important point you're making, that due diligence is followed when it comes to serving prasad, in a temple like Tirupati, where the faith of so many is actually attached. Mr. Deepak Reddy, how do you respond to that charge? It's an extremely sensitive issue. What Mr. Gandhi seems to suggest is that while the ghee may have animal fat, there was no animal fat in the actual laddus that were served to devotees.
When it comes to the YCP, the truth is a very big casualty. This is what I always keep saying. But I should thank the gentleman who just spoke before. He's agreed that 48 tankers were sent back in the last year. The minute the sample was collected, 15 tankers were actually, they went back without unloading, clearly knowing that the ghee is contaminated. And during the earlier TDP government, we had a laboratory right in the temple, which was closed down by the YCP government when they came to power. So clearly it has been adulterated. And 5 years ago, when they stopped taking the ghee from Nandini dairy from Karnataka, they said clearly the cost of production is 400 rupees. If anything is, if somebody is supplying below than this, definitely they will be adulterating it. Be careful. This is what the caution they have done, but they haven't bothered. So clear cut, we know there is a certain cost for a product. If somebody is undercutting that cost, obviously there is an issue with quality. So here the fact is the mistakes have happened. The adulterated ghee has been supplied, which was used to make the laddus, and a detailed inquiry is ordered by Chandrababu Naidu.
I take your point that there should be a detailed probe, a detailed investigation, given the fact that there are serious allegations and you're also putting out that private lab report. But Mr. Reddy, to say that the prasad served in all Congress-controlled temples, to say that there should be a Sanatan Dharma Rakshan board, are you not, in a sense, trying to create an unnecessary doubt in the minds of so many devotees when it comes to temples across the country? I mean, this could be, a case that pertains to one particular temple, and there should be an investigation into that. But to say that, there's some sort of suspicion that you have over prasad served in all temples, isn't that sort of blowing it out of proportion a bit?
Not true, because if you look at even a simple aspect at traditional temple lands, if you see across most temple boards, they are being, stolen by people. So today the temples have no protection. The sanctity of the temples are being violated. Like in the earlier YSR government, no matter how many times we said a non-Hindu has to sign on a declaration, Jagan Mohan Reddy hasn't done that. So he wanted to sell the temple land. Then there were n number of corruption charges. In fact, yesterday papers also have reported more than 520 crores of initial inquiry into certain corruption charges. So these are things which have to be taken seriously. And the sentiment of especially this ghee of animal fat coming in, this is extremely sensitive. So they didn't bother.
Okay, no Mr. Gandhi, a quick response to that, and then I'll have to leave it there. Mr. Gandhi, a quick response.
During the earlier regime, they did not bother to take any corrective action.
Mr. Reddy, let Mr. Gandhi respond. You've had your point. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Gandhi.
See, this is a very sensible issue. First, either the political party TDP or YCP, first we all should be answerable to the devotees. 100%. Even TDP should give a statement right. Otherwise, they will definitely, Lord Venkateshwar will punish TDP and Chandrababu Naidu, no doubt. Because the prasadam which is served to the devotees is not at all altered, or not any kind of adulterations were not done to the prasadam laddu. First, they have to give a clear statement on that. And moreover, this is a clear diversion politics. As the 100 days of the governance rule completed by the new government, they were utterly failure in handling the floods or saving the lives of flood victims, or they failed in saving the Vizag steel plant. To divert their what we call failures, today they brought this Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam Laddu issue. It is very astonished and ridiculous and senseless.
So that's a larger point you're making, but the point you made about the fact that the prasads that were actually served to the devotees, those were not compromised. I think that's an important point there. But thanks very much, Mr. Reddy and Mr. Gandhi, for being with us. This is certainly a politically sensitive issue. Both the TDP and the YSRCP have to look at how to handle this sensitively, keeping in mind the faith that is attached to the Tirupati and of course the prasad served there, the faith and belief of millions of devotees who visit the Tirupati temple every day.
Well, TDP's Lok Sabha floor leader, Mr. Krishna, is with me. Sir, a shocking report had arrived yesterday after, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh claimed that there is beef that is in the prasads of Tirupati temple. They have claimed that, there should be a thorough investigation into it. What you wanted to say, because the entire nation is in shock?
To put it very blunt, I'm not a person, I'm not someone who does anything political with regards to the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. I'm someone who goes there every year, tonsure my head. I rever, I pray to God, pray to Venkateshwar Swami. So that is the place where I'm not going to do any politics there. But whatever has been mentioned in that report, yesterday it has come out and it was shocking. I'm completely at shock. So I believe thorough investigation has to be done. If there is any incident that has happened that has been mentioned in that report, and if so, what was the reason why that incident has happened, and where the systems were not functioning, because there's thorough checks and balances of every ingredient that goes into the making of prasada at Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. So if there is any systemic failure somewhere that has happened, because if any tenders has been called for, definitely they mention in the tender clearly what is the requirement if we have to supply something. So once someone is going to put a tender for that, they have to look into it and they have to vouch for what they are supplying. So in the whole process, we have to dig deep and we have to find out where anything has happened, and if it has happened, where the system was a failure. So we have to correct it, and we have to see that these kind of incidents, if it has happened, should not be repeated.